I'd like to share a few thoughts on truth as it relates to how we view the bigger topics of life, like our life, beliefs, perhaps where we came from, um, origins, and our purpose. So, the world's population is about 7.8 billion people. So, very likely that means there's 7.8 opinions, positions, ideologies, perhaps. So, what does that mean about truth as it relates to our existence in life? Um, are there 7.8 billion truths? I've had a couple of people say things like, well, that's your truth, this is my truth, kind of thing. Let's take a look at some definitions of truth. And these definitions, these particular ones, I know there's a lot of philosophical thought and expansions that one could take, but these definitions are what I'm basing my few thoughts that I'm sharing with you. So Oxford Dictionary says a true fact of something rather than things invented or guessed. Cambridge Dictionary, the actual fact or facts about a matter. Webster, I grabbed two from here. The body of things, events, and facts. The other one is a fundamental or spiritual reality. And actually, I added in the Gospel of John, chapter 17, verse 17, that implies that God and the Bible are truth, is truth, are truth. So the word truth, too, it has a root Latin word called ver, V-E-R. And that's also the root word for verdict, veracity, very, and I think a couple of other words are derived from that. So, so why am I doing this? Recently, I'd gotten into some discussions with a couple of friends. I wouldn't call them debates, but they were on what I believe to be important biblical issues and thoughts, or issues and topics rather. And we had differing opinions, differing, I would say more like interpretations. So that kind of caused me to want to go back to the basics and just kind of rethink a couple of things about approaching, establishing and arriving at a position on a matter. So I'm going to ask you, as I asked myself, there's a few mosquitoes coming out. Do we test or use tests to validate our positions and our beliefs on things? Do we dig deep? I'm sure a lot of people do. So because I'm kind of going through this exercise, I'm sharing this with you in case there are folks that don't. And I think there are some that don't or don't do it as maybe diligently. So here's my thought and a suggestion if this isn't something that is familiar to you. Take a topic, take a position that you are normally 1,000% confident in. Something that you would go to the mats and debate with absolute confidence. Maybe find a quiet place, quiet time, and ask yourself, are there any ways that I could be wrong about this position or topic? How many ways could there be? And write them down. Write down anything that comes to mind where it could raise doubts on the strength of your position. I would also recommend that you pray that God gives you wisdom and discernment in determining, in digging into and arriving at a good, sound, accurate conclusion and position. And if you don't believe in God at this time, just meditate and spend some time meditating before you dig in on utilizing wisdom and discernment. I believe I'm a strong proponent of prayer and meditative thought, so you can focus on what it is you're digging into. So the conclusion is going to be one of two, one of a few, where did your research and digging result in you changing your position on a matter or strengthening your position? So I came to the conclusion that this type of exercise draws us individually closer to objective truth about a matter. I think it also allows for good conversation when you are discussing this with people, either that agree or disagree with your position, because as you know, there's a lot of topics being argued, debated, whatever, and not all of them are respectful and friendly. So I think folks doing their homework more and all that and coming to the table in a spirit of respect and friendliness, I think that's a good thing. Which, to my closing point, so I believe truth can be known and understood. And I think that's best, when we dig into topics objectively and critically, which also means that emotions and feelings are less likely to distract from arriving at a good, sound truth of something. So just a few thoughts, something that I was pondering, and thought I'd go out in this nice, beautiful, mosquito-infested forest. It's gorgeous out here, actually. It's beautiful. So thank you. God bless. Have a great week.